First of all, this site is one of the best sites I've enjoyed so far this year. Look at the typography elements. This whole thing is aligned on a grid with a dash of chaos. It's a 10 out of 10 delight factor for me, which is what keeps me on the page as soon as I visit. You might think like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's not true. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. If I'm delighted right away, I'm staying longer for you to hook me with your message, your content, your design, and your call to action. Good lead magnet there. Gets you on the course. The color's nice. The typography's nice. This website hits like all of the design principles that you need to implement in your sites. Typography, layout, color theory, balance, contrast, content organization, consistency, pattern disrupts, usability across multiple screen sizes. See how it's teasing below the fold? It makes me want to scroll. I mean, just experiencing the site, whether on desktop, tablet, phone, heck, even paper, is a masterclass in the principles of web design. Look at this. It's excellent. And no, I'm not affiliated with Benton Woodring's course at all. If the course is anything like its landing page, I can tell you right now that the students will learn a thing or two if they apply the lessons. Layout, organization, typography, the toggling back and forth between the white, just like top-notch, spot on. Now, while I'm gushing over the site and it seems like I'm head over heels for the design, it's not perfect. Nothing is. Don't do that. Don't do it. I have a little bit of an issue with the alignment. The image is like a blurry screenshot. I thought it was a video, which it should be. And I love giving honest feedback. Sometimes people don't like that and I scare them away. But hey, if I was just all like, wow, this is perfect, do nothing, never change, well, I wouldn't be honest and you wouldn't grow as a designer, right? So take my feedback with a grain of salt or hold on to it for dear life. When I get on a site, the feeling of the site is kind of important to me. So I can look at it through the lens of what are the principles? What are all the elements that a good design should have? Yes. And obviously this course is probably going to teach you that, master the web design principles. So I'm going to look at it through that. But a big part of it for me is the feeling that I get when I see the site, when I land on the site. What's the feeling? Do I feel like, ooh, I want to enter into this. I want to feel this out. Or do I feel like, ugh, this is cringy? Or do I feel like, oh, everything's so tight? Or like, what's going on? Why that color? Why that picture? The first thing I notice is a good feeling here. Nice white space, big, open. I love the typography choice here. All caps. This is like a sans serif, like a simple sans serif. It could be it could be a Helvetica. It could be a Montreal Noy. Nice font choice. And the white space, notice the white is not actually white. It's an off-white. It's like a gray. The swatch white is an F7, 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 F7. So nice. And it's not a flat black. So that's also nice. It's a light primary kind of, let me see here. We got swatch black. It's 122022. So great color choices here. Master the web design principles and build a portfolio ready landing page in Figma from start to finish. Very clear UVP, unique value proposition. Nice. The repetition of intro to web design. I feel like that's a missed opportunity from a marketing perspective. Clearly the design is on point so far. Let's keep going. We got a call to action here, get notified. So the course isn't ready yet, I suppose. What happens when I click it? New page. Learn the foundations of web design, intro to web design. Okay, so consistency here with the style, typography, the brand is there. Learn the foundations of web design. See, there's your header. Type your email, subscribe, no thanks. What happens if I click no thanks? Oh, it's just like a Substack. From a marketing perspective, from a funnel perspective, this kind of just went for me. But that could be improved. I feel like that's a missed opportunity. This should be get notified, give me a modal window, give me a sexy, fresh bread pop-up window there, enter that email, get the first lesson free. We're announcing the launch of the course and you're going to be the first one to access it. Like good opportunity for lead generation marketing there. And I feel like that could have been done better, but okay. From a design perspective, ooh, nice. Now going below the fold here, the image, big, bright. As you could tell, I got a big, bright background here, good lighting. So nice. I have a feeling that this is going to look nice as well. The image, it's like a blurry screenshot. It's like, and it's even pixelated. It's not even rendered that, like, I thought it was a video, which it should be. It should be a video, filmed nice, good promo to communicate the value for us to get a little sneak peek, a teaser. I could see the companies that you've behind the scenes of real client projects for companies like these. Okay, this is nice. A nice little slider showing me those like all recognizable brands. I don't like that it chops off on the end here. As you can see, there's a hard line where that it hides behind the div. The container just goes whoop, just slices it off. I feel like that should be a fade. I feel like there's an opportunity there for a nice little design touch that just, you know, why learn web design? Build the life you want. From a marketing, copywriting perspective, I'm not sure that that lands. I get what you're saying because web designer to web designer here, getting into web design was a complete life changer. So yeah, I agree with you, but I don't know if people who are getting into it know that. It's in demand, it's high paying, it's flexible, it's huge potential. Yes, 100%. I vouch for all of these points. So from a copywriting perspective, maybe this could be clarified a little bit, but from a design perspective, so good. Look at this, like kind of got the eyebrow element here. In a sense, it almost looks like a button. You've established that as a motif and that's cool, that's fine. And the only button here is a full black pill. Nice typography, nice spacing. It's good. And you toggle, you got the gray here, and then you toggle to white. There's a lot going on here from a design perspective. Let me just take a look here. So nice, clean white. We're going full white. So a lot of contrast here, and learn the foundations of web design. Like take a look at how staggered, and you might think that the typography here is, if you don't have an eye for design or you're new, you might think that this is out of whack here. Why is the text all over the place? Learn starts here, learn the foundations is way over here of web design. What's going on here? Why is this kind of left aligned, justified aligned, right aligned over here, and then left aligned with a huge indent? And why is this center aligned in the middle? Like you might think like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. It's not true. This guy knows exactly what he's doing. Watch this. Do you see this grid? Look at the typography, look at the elements, look at where everything starts, look at the image. This whole thing is, for the most part, aligned on a grid. So we've got foundations, which is starting here within the second column. And from is even starting from the third column. The image is starting on the fifth column, and it's 4 columns wide. So there's equal space on either side. See how build a portfolio ready landing page is actually right aligned on the 11th column from start to finish. From is on the third, to is on the second. So you can see here that this is very much on a grid. Image used, I'm assuming this is, see behind the scenes of a real client project for companies like these. I'm assuming this. I'm not sure what this means though. From a typography standpoint, it looks great. Is this company that we're thinking about? I've never heard of Lob. Maybe I should. Maybe there should be a fade or a carousel that kind of gives us more images of recognizable brands, or see behind the scenes of real, client projects like this rather than for companies like these, because now I'm thinking about the company. Okay, join us. Who is this course for? The typography here, it looks nice, but the copywriting is a little bit, I feel like this should be like FAQ. Who's this course for? Rather than join us. Graphic designers, UX, UI, web developers, marketing pros. Perfect. What's included? This is great. See, this is a good pre-header. Everything you need to get started as a web designer. Okay. 4 lessons, 7 exercise, 2 hours of video, lifetime access. Wonderful. Nice image, nice alignment. Let's take a look. We're on the grid. See this? It's on the grid here. Perfect. Go down. We're toggling the background again. You see that? Now that's nice. That's how we're going to disrupt pattern. It's a pattern disrupt. So we're used to the gray. We're reading the gray background. It's easier on the eyes. And then all of a sudden, boom. But it's subtle, but just enough to take you out of the moment a little bit, make you focus on what's going on here. Module 1, typography and color. Nice. Good highlighting of what you're trying. This is showing instead of telling, or primarily showing and then telling. And you could see like the color's nice, the typography's nice. It's great. So you're showing and not just telling. My one maybe feedback on this would be to swap back and forth. So take these two, then boom, image on the right, text on the left. Use it as an opportunity to delight the user, to pattern disrupt. It's only 4 elements here, so it's not necessary. And also this could be a conscious choice. I want to make this very clear. Principles in design and in art and the rules and whatnot, they are good practices, but you're fully welcome to just break all of it. If you know the rules, they're there in design to be broken. You know, so if you're like, oh, you know what? You're expecting me to toggle back and forth, but guess what I'm going to do? Not that. That's a conscious choice. It can be, at least. And so if it feels right to you and it's got a good essence and it's lending itself properly to the site and to the experience, then yeah, sure, do it. The highlights, course overview, self-paced recordings. Okay, good. Meet your instructor. Nice. He's nicely lit. It's nice. It's a nice headshot. You can see his eye line is generally looking up towards his name, right? I like it. Heard in the Twitterverse. What people are saying, is it called the Twitterverse now, or is it the Xverse, or is it the Verse X? I would maybe say, like, this is being clever rather than clear. So I might say, I know Ramit Sethi, he has a phrase in one of his courses, be clear, not clever. And this is a bit clever. The all caps here generally works on the site. And I know that this quote and this text treatment is the same as, say, this text treatment. It's the same size, the same leading, the same spacing, but this is used as almost like subheaders or like level 4 headers. I'm even curious what element is being chosen for this. This is a level 4 header. The line height, I'm feeling like it could be a little bit, again, subjective, blah, 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 whatever. I think that this line height could be a little, if it's going to be all caps, give me a little more breathing room. Give me a 1.4, even that. So subtle, just a touch more, just a little bit more. Too tight, subjective, but that's my thought. Now, I have a little bit of an issue with the alignment of this in general. And looking at this grid again, which might not be the exact grid that Benton was using. It might have been used a different grid, so I couldn't say if his alignment is on or off here. But based on the grid that I've been looking at for everything else, the alignment's a little bit off here and it made me feel a little uneasy. And I think the other part that's maybe making me feel a little uncomfortable is the top of this headshot and text, this little treatment here of the person, the testimonial giver. They're not all aligned. So this one is aligned, I believe, but this one is being bumped down. We have more questions and FAQs. I thought these were questions and FAQs up here. Standard, toggle open and close, great. Who's it for? We already answered that, but it's okay to reiterate. Repeating yourself is very important because a lot of the time readers aren't reading everything. So hit them at 2 or 3 points. Get notified. You're probably taking me to your Substack again. Don't do that. Don't do it. Give me a nice little pop-up. Just put your email there. Make it so easy from a user experience perspective. Just like, boom, email is right there. I can just type it in because I want to do that, but I don't want to subscribe to Substack. Nice image here, but what is it? Almost a little bit of like a finishing off on a touch of a confusing note. I get that. Look, this is a nice design that you did. It's very clear. It's in Figma. It's beautiful, but I feel like there needs to be a little more clarity here. This could be above or somewhere in between, and this could be a different image that maybe shows you designing, shows you with your nice iPad doing something, shows you with Figma opened up and, you know, like you're designing something, aligning something. I want to see you in action. All right, we're looking at it on the phone. And yeah, already, oh yeah, like every way that I've looked at this site so far, from paper to desktop to phone and also tablet view, like all of it's been, just my first impressions every time is just so delightful. It makes me want to take the course. Okay. So just looking at it as I scroll through, like mobile view, it looks good. We're not getting any weird horizontal scrolling. That's a good tell when someone's not paid attention and they got an element that's wider than the container of the device itself. When you can horizontal scroll and it's not meant to be, you're scrolling down and then it's just like, whoops, sideways. It's not happening. So good on you. Beautiful. I like that you kept the interesting layout of the typography, the grid-based layout. You didn't abandon that and just like center align it all. Looks good. I like it. I feel as though you paid special attention to the phone to make sure it looked good. And it shows. Excellent. Like I'm pleased all the way through here. I'm trying to see if anything stands out as like, little bit of extra space. Like, let me see here. The highlights course overview, take a look here at the padding or the margin rather above and below course overview and the pill above it. See how it's like kind of nice equal spacing above and below, it looks right. But as I go down here to heard in the Twitterverse what people are saying, we got an abundance of space here, but even more at the bottom. And I feel like it looks a little unintentional. Tighten that up a little bit. Make it consistent above and below on the other elements where you use this treatment and on this. Hey, the testimonials look great here because I'm not looking at it on the 3 columns where the testimonial author is up and down and not really consistent. This looks nice on the phone. Consistently large, lots of space above and below the header and eyebrow treatment, or less space. We got to pick one. FAQs look great. Typography looks great. I don't like this call to action though. It falls flat for me. And I feel like this is like you built me up to kind of let me down here. All right, we got tablet view, intro to web.design. First thing I got to say is like right here on the tablet version on my iPad Pro, like holding this in my hands, it makes it an even nicer experience. It almost like with the weight of the iPad, I don't know, there's something about browsing websites on an iPad that's so strange and appealing at the same time. And I'm so glad I'm doing it on this site because it's a beautiful site. Holding it in my hands, I really like it. As I just kind of scroll all the way through, like it's just a nice, appealing layout, organization, typography, the toggling back and forth between the white background and this slight gray background, good imagery, line height, like in general here, all of it just like top notch, spot on. I would just from your landing page want to take your course because you clearly know what you're doing. Like your course is doing the selling. Sorry, your landing page is doing the selling for you just by seeing it. Now that said, there are some feedback items that I do have. A few things that stand out as I was scrolling through is I'm holding the iPad. I'm getting the desktop view just with less width. I feel like we should pay a little attention to the tablet view here, even though only maybe like 1% of your viewers are looking at it on tablet. You're going to look at your analytics and be like, one iPad from Canada is viewing my website. What? That was me, man, right here. Me checking out your site on the iPad. Most of us are not getting traffic from tablets. And so we might tend to ignore it. And that's probably fine from a practical standpoint, but from a principle, artistic standpoint, it's like, take a look at your tablet view and look at it and go, is it like bomb? Or is it just like, it's just like 60% width desktop version? That's most of us, me included. I'm guilty of that. Make it like, ooh, somebody pulls up your site on a tablet and you like change their life for a moment. Remember, in design, rules are guidelines, not gospel. They give you boundaries and constraints to make great art. But those boundaries are there to show you when you're making a safe choice and a bold choice to stay within and to leap over. I did have some issues with the site. The copywriting perspective, I'm not sure that lands. A couple nitpicky issues where I feel were ignored because they didn't seem like a big deal. Text on the right, image on the left. It gets repetitive and it gets fatiguing. Some inconsistency in the heading treatments with spacing. The tablet view felt like it was a little overlooked, probably because most of us do that. Tablets are very forgiving because the screens are so large. That final call to action wasn't using the same motif that was established previously on the site. I feel like that could be a tastier header, a little more big. You were bold on these choices. I feel like you should be going for this treatment. The final call to action felt flat for me as it took me away to like a Substack opt-in, and it felt disjointed from the whole website experience. Don't do that. Don't do it. A nice modal window right on the page to finally delight me and just kind of like tip me over the edge. That would have just been the icing on the cake. The site basically set me up perfectly for a conversion, but the CTA didn't knock me down. It disappointed me. I'm smelling the bread. I'm walking into the bakery. I can sense it. I can smell it. It's warm. It's just, oh, it's the best. The melted butter. And by the end of it, it's like cold and stale bread. Right here is what I get. Overall, the site was fresh, delicious, and delightful. Everything you should aim to incorporate in your web designs. Special thanks to Benton for giving me permission to dig into this site. And he also wanted me to give a special shout out to his boy, Devin Fountain, who developed the site in record time. And I must say, he did a splendid job. So go follow at Benton Woodring and at Devin S. Fountain on X, formerly Twitter. And I'm going to link them up down in the box down there. Subscribe for more of this.